Hey there, fellow makers and shakers, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Lightyear Frontier, Episode 4, Advanced Crafting. So it looks to me like you guys want me to work on some of my primaries. So in terms of my primaries, I have the radio tower, and then I have like just the building the grinder and cauliflower press, because that's like kicking off goals. So I'll do that.
Morning. Hope you had a good night's sleep. The decorating you did yesterday really lit up the place. It's really beginning to feel like a home.
So the flower press is done, and that allows you to make paints. So the game wants me to find a new color flower, even though I've harvested a whole bunch of them, just to get the quest off of my logs. I'll go find a new color flower and turn it into paint. Maybe I'll paint my mech. I feel like I went exactly the wrong way for a colored flower. Like, they're everywhere, except for right where I went. But it's also not raining today, so I should probably water the crops. I'm bad about remembering to do that. So holding right mouse gives you the Hydro Splash. If you aim well, you can get, there we go, all your crops in it.
That should keep it good until tomorrow.
If you aim poorly, you got the corners to fill in. Alright. I do find that when you're aiming a little bit farther, like it waters more closer to your mech than it does outwards. So aiming directly dead center is actually kind of wrong. You kind of want to aim further out. Okay, let's go get a colored flower. It abides by the rule of when you want one, you never find one. Oh, and a merchant coming down. And craft a color in the flower press. We also have a merchant. She's back.
Buying or selling? Make your pick.
So in terms of resources, she doesn't have any new seeds.
Take care.
We have to sort of find the seeds for the first time to unlock them, to be able to purchase it off of her. I'll queue up some blue paint. I am gonna try to take advantage of the...
1, 2, 1, 2. Can you hear me properly? My name is Alf, and I live on the planet next door. I have a proposal. You see, well, I'm a botanic scientist, and seeing that you're a farmer and all, maybe we could do some form of collaboration. It would be easier to explain what I can offer you in person, so if it's not too much of a bother, I need you to prepare me a place to land on. It will be worth your while. Promise.
Okay, I have my first true side mission, which is building a landing pad for Ulf, who's a botanic scientist who wants to collaborate. I also got carrot seeds from the edge cliffs. And I'm gonna get some copper as well. So maybe what I'll do is, instead of working on the radio tower, I'll build a landing pad for Ulf once I'm done with the grinder and flour press lines. Ooh, good. Lots of seeds ahead. One of the reasons I came out here is, part of the game mechanics is, like, once I find carrot seeds, Lola will start selling them, which then helps me fill up entire plots for the farm. So I wanted to, before she departs, set up at least 2 plots for carrot, if not 3. Ideally, I like putting 3 of all crops types so that I have more oils and fodder and everything than I truly need. That way I'm not wishing for more. Because imagine if I only had like 1 plot of polyberry at the start. I wouldn't be able to feed these, and I didn't actually feed them today, but I wouldn't be able to feed the nests in the 2 new zones had I not over-farmed polyberry initially. Oh, I'm heading not home. There we go. Started beelining to the radio tower. So she is buying starfish and red crystals and geodes are lower. So I'll try to sell her some stuff too, whatever's in flux right now. Oh, and I just happen to have exactly 2 plots worth of carrot, so maybe that's fine. Maybe I won't buy any from her. I'll go with 2 plots of rabbage, 2 plots of carrot.
I have just the thing you need.
Because I think she wouldn't sell carrot until the next time she arrives, because I had only just unlocked it.
I bet I can find a buyer for this stuff. Take care.
So here's a landing spot for your neighbors that we'll work on next. Let's get this carrot down. Hey, Chaos Engine, thank you for the resub. 1 more month until the 3-year mark, huh? Getting close.
Into the soil it goes. Can't wait to see it grow up. That plant's all nice and watered.
Cool. So we got 1 wheat, 2 rabbage, 2 carrot, and 3 polyberry. At some point, it might make sense to phase out the polyberry, but I don't need to do that right now. Let's go ahead and finish up the pink quest. So exit the mech. The paint tool that you have is a tool that you start with on your person. And I'm going to paint my mech blue. And you can paint, you know, not everything, but like, well, everything else is blue anyway right now. So I wouldn't be able to do it, really. But, yeah, there we go. Paint quest is done. I'll put the excess paints away. As paint's kind of in the same bucket of the berries. The next thing I wanted was the grinder. And this thing looks like a windmill. But it just grinds down resources. Very useful to have it close to your storages. I'm just trying to get a valid slope here. I want to put it up here, ideally. Maybe on the hill, just for the aesthetics. So let's clear some space out. I think I'd like 2 of them. So for this, I need a few more stones and a few more copper wires. Snoozer, thank you for the resub too. What do you want me to build? Radio tower or Ulf's landing pad? Once I'm done with the grinder. With the grinder done, we can grind red crystal dust and stone dust. So I'll queue 1 red crystal dust and a whole bunch of stone dust. And I kind of want a second grinder. I'm going to put it here. There we go. Given that I just ground up a whole bunch of red crystal, I am gonna go grab some more red crystal. Oh, let's feed the animals over there first. I haven't fed the Edge Cliffs animals, but for now I'm just gonna feed the pine animals. Feed the pine animals, harvest the red crystal, and then I think work towards the radio tower, because that is the popular option, at least for now. I like a blue mech. I actually match my my farm now. Before, the entire farm was blue and my mech was red. You can also combine different colored flowers to make new flowers. So like red flower and white flower equals pink, for instance. So you're not restricted to just a few of the primary colors.
Favorites.
Which is a pretty nice feature.
You scared him.
I think I just stepped on one of the wild critters. Oops. It'll survive. What I do find a little funny about this game is a big part of it is bringing ecosystems back into balance. But feeding wild animals is completely the antithesis of ecosystem balance, right? If you're actively feeding wild animals, you're throwing off the balance. I mean, it's a pedantic issue that really doesn't matter. I just thought it was funny. It's like, if there's not enough resources, if there's not enough food for animals to survive in a biome, they shouldn't be there in the first place. It's not balanced to keep them fed. Especially if they're like migratory or something, because, you know, like if you choose to feed a bunch of migratory birds throughout the winter and keep them warm, well, you're probably going to mess up their breeding or something like that. Like, it has some pretty negative consequences as a result of your intervention. And history is full of examples just like that, of like, oh, you know, we have like a pest problem. Let's introduce a predator to the pests. And then the predator becomes a bigger problem than the pests ever were in their own way. Right? Sometimes messing with an ecosystem is worse than just leaving it alone. But whatever. The game's pretty, so I forgive it for its ecological faults. Yeah, it's like rebuilding a destroyed habitat, where, like, I guess IRL, like, if you were to take a destroyed habitat, you would probably need to initially sow the natural food for that the critters relied upon, but then eventually they should find some sort of balance. So it looks like we're going to rebuild or try to build the radio tower next. I haven't actually interacted with that quest line, so I don't know what resources it entails yet. But we do have a whole bunch more red crystal, which is great. So we just picked up stone dust for the first time, which gives us clay, clear glass, and a furnace, and red crystal dust, which we know was part of an upgrade material. So taking a look at the mech upgrades, just so that you can see what we might have available to us in the future. Red crystal dust plus ravage oil equals irrigation hose power, which is required to clean up one of the neighboring biomes. Copper wire and carrot oil, which we know once the carrots are matured, we can make carrot oil, is the vacuum harvester power tier 1. Spike saw power tier 2. We kind of know about the ingredients there. Power cores we don't know. No. Same with red lenses, or clear lenses, or iron parts. So there's still a lot of resources that we don't have a concept of how to make, but we're getting closer. We also have the ability to make a furnace, which I want to make one now. And a color mixer, which allows us to make new colors out of different colored paints. So I'll put the color mixer... Put the plant oils like that, so I have space for the color mixer. So I need more red crystal dust and hardwood for the color mixer, and more clay, or clay, for the furnace, which clay is made of crushed up stone run through a grinder. And it also allows us to build a large plot, as well as some new decorations. So I've queued up most of the clay needed. We do have need of a little bit more hardwood, so I'm going to go get the hardwood for the for that project before going to sleep. I'm also going to start to replant some of the trees that I cut down. So we're not just taking from the environment, but we're reseeding it too. Alright, so the color mixer. I would need to at least have red paint to do anything with the color mixer, because we only have one colored paint so far, but at least we have it built. Put everything else away. And maybe queue up a few more grinding stuff. I do like how it keeps spilling down the hill. It's convenient, to say the least.
Rise and shine, excellent farmer. The decorating you did yesterday really lit up the place. It's really beginning to feel like a home.
Oh, yeah, let's make...
I don't like the look of this.
So there's the furnace, and the furnace lets us make clear glass out of stone dust and coal, and red glass out of red crystal dust and coal. But we have weed seeds that are harming our crops. So this is a dangerous weather event. I'm also harvesting some of the crops, where we want to catch the seeds before they become noxious weeds. And there's a bit of advantage to catching them in midair, because it forms noxious pods, which is a new resource. Because if they land, it's just plant fiber. And if they land on your crops, it's no bueno. Well, I can't aim at all. There we go. Okay, we caught them all. So I am, before we get going on my next task, I'm gonna have my Ravage out of phase. Just because I need more Ravage. I'm gonna leave this mound empty and only plant 2 of the polyberries rather than all 3.
Great shot.
At some point, you guys might vote for me to get the weather station, so that I can predict when the hostile weather events will happen. So there's not much penalty to not sleeping, but what I will say is if you don't sleep and you're far away from home during one of these weather events, it can cause some damage because you're not home to intervene. Just trying to put everything away, and then we'll go trade with the trader. So now that I have red and blue paint, we can also check out the paint mixer for the first time. Red plus blue equals purple. It's also used in the night violet paint. So you can see there's a bunch of initial colors, and then that can make subsequent mixed colors as well.
Hola. See anything you like?
Alright, so as far as resources go, she is not selling any seeds that we, I think, need. In terms of blueprints, there's a discounted carved stone, but I'm still good. I'm just gonna keep saving up for now. She will buy amber
I bet I can find a buyer for this stuff.
at hiked prices. We did just get clear glass for the first time, and that gives us the ability to make bottles as a decoration, and also clear lenses. So clear lenses is car root oil plus clear glass, and that's used for lock-on targets, security cameras, film projector, and sunglasses. So some new materials, and we're about to be done with our first batch of red glass too. All right, you guys wanted me to work on the radio tower, so now that I'm putting everything away, I'll head over that way and check out what is required. So let's open up the journal, go to the radio tower, click it, and I need to travel somewhere that direction for it. The noxious spores that I caught can also be ground up, so I'll queue them up on the grinder. So the like dangerous weather events do have a bit of a use case too. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is a dead end, but maybe I'll be able to jetpack over to where I need to be. What do you want me to work on tomorrow? So, working on a primary side quest would probably be more radio tower or Ulf, or both, depending on what is needed. Improving the farm and homestead. There's not a lot of improvements to be made at the moment, but I could try to build some new stuff. So we have, I have at least one of every type of crafting. But we are missing some essentials. So I am missing a weather station. There is the possibility of building a large plot, which can have space for 25 plants. I will say, however, given that my current Mech's tools can water up to 9 and sow seeds up to 9, large plots are great, but maybe only when your Mech can handle it. I could also improve the Mech, because now I've interacted with a bunch of new resources, so there's probably some upgrades that I could do. And then as far as the radio tower goes, I need copper ore, electronics, frames, and hardwood. And I have access to all of those materials, so I'm going to write them down. 12 hardwood, 5 frames, 3 electronics, and 8 copper ore. That's what I'm going to go fetch to build the radio tower. So the yellow forest, if you're wondering, blue crystal, which requires a spike blade tier 2. So even if I clean this area up, I wouldn't actually be able to harvest it yet. But it also requires vacuum harvesting, and
More ruins. I haven't seen these ones before. I gotta admit, they do look a lot more intriguing from your point of view. Whatever material they're made of is incredibly resistant to scanning. From up here, they have the same readings as a dull rock, and I find most rocks fascinating.
So in this case, the some of the pollution in the yellow forest I can clean up with my tier 1 hose, but it will also require an upgrade to the vacuum.
Nice.
So I can like partially clean it up, but there's really no point in partially cleaning it up until you can do the whole thing, because it's kind of an all or nothing venture.
I can't wait to analyze this. I can't wait to analyze this.
Alright, looks like after I try to rebuild the radio tower, we are going to improve the Mech.
What a fascinating discovery.
But I figure while I'm here, finding,
Nice find.
finding some strange rocks.
What a curious object.
Let's take advantage of this find and grab them now.
Nice find. wait to analyze this.
This is probably meant to be done more on foot. Yeah, case in point. So let's hop out of the mech for this one.
What a curious object. I wonder what this could be.
Okay, I hear it shimmering. So let's go see about spotting it. Here, it's right there. So just need to climb back up.
That's all we need. I've compiled our findings in the database.
Town ruins. The remains in this area strongly suggest that it could have been some form of settlement. The relics you found indicate many residents per home, which strikes me as an oddity since there's no lack of space on the planet, then or now. Your samples also contain particulate traces of minerals from the nearby mountains, so I theorize the main purpose of the settlement was gathering and refining metals. However, your search did not uncover any remains of the refined products. What were they making, and where was it taken? The spice must flow. And we have the ability to now make a strange fence. Okay, so grabbing the materials for the radio tower before I forget. So let's go back home and fetch the electronics and the hardwood, the copper, etc. Oh, come on. Show me what you got. I'll just throw my mech up there. Game wants me to go around, and I'm like, no! Okay, game, you win. I'll go around. Once I have a better thruster, that'll be a little bit easier to deal with. So found red glass and noxious spores. So the processed noxious spores gives us access to some new things. So in the assembler, we have the ability to make power cores, which are processed noxious spores, which are required for many of our upgrades. So spikes 1 through 3, lock on targets 1 through 3, thrust boost 1 through 2. So I'll make a power core now. And then power cores are also involved in the advanced furnace as well. So let's put this stuff away. Queue up more of the noxious spores to be ground up for cores. So as you might imagine, one of the bottlenecks of this game is the noxious spores, which are not farmable in the traditional sense. So it's a way to sort of pace the gameplay, perhaps. Something like that. So let's get 12 hardwoods. So split stack, just grab 12 of them. We want 5 frames. I also want to put my stone away. So on the assembler, 5 frames. We want 3 electronics, and the electronics is a mix of aluminum rods and copper wire. So for 3 electronics, we need 3 copper wire. And that's the first time I've made that. So it did unlock some resources. A ball dispenser and a goalpost. which is like a way to play robo hockey or robo soccer or football or something, I don't know. And last but not least, just raw copper ore. 8 of it. So 12 hardwood, 5 frames, 3 electronics, and 8 ore. And we'll head back over to the radio site and build it. You know what's odd is I no longer have the hotbar HUD for this. It's like missing. I'm glad I roughly known the direction, because otherwise that would be a little frustrating, I think. It's pretty big though. I guess it's not that hard to spot.
Way to go, partner!
The radio tower is currently being reworked for a future update. So if you're wondering, in previous versions of this game, the radio tower is kind of linked to some of these side quests that exist, but now the side quests have been separated out from the radio tower's questline. So we build the radio tower, but it, at the moment, doesn't serve a purpose. I also like how slapped together it looks. Like, just, yeah, high-tech radio tower with like planks for support placed randomly. Slapdash. I actually find that kind of endearing. Okay, and then you guys wanted me to upgrade the mech, so I'm going to go back to the upgrade station and try to write up all of the potential upgrade paths for the resources I have available to me, so that you can decide tomorrow how the mech improves. Oh yeah, right. I already fell into this hole before. But luckily, I can just be like, hey, I'm stuck. No problem. Thank you for tuning in to Lightyear Frontier, which originally streamed live on Twitch December 10th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow farmers.